What is up, everybody? Hope you're having a good day. Over the past week or so, I've been seeing a lot of people in the comments who were talking about the MPC 500, obviously this one that I've got, and you know, they're asking some pretty simple but obviously confusing things if you're new to it. So I have answered quite a few of those questions in the comments, but I'm just going to go over it in a video and you can like skip to whatever part you want. I'm going to put that in the timestamp section. So first up, what we've got is when you load up your MPC, it's obviously going to come from maybe whoever you bought it, or you know, I don't think you can get them from the factory these days, but it might come with Autoload already set up on it if somebody's done a reset on it. So that is basically when you turn it on at the back, even if it doesn't have the card in it, it's going to load up one of the R.E.C default projects. Now the way you do that is you go mode, load, and you got the thing coming up where it says program. You're going to scroll across all the way till it says auto load. Obviously I've got mine off. It might be on for you, but I turn mine to off, and that means that when you load up the MPC, just turn it on, it's just going to come up blank straight away, so you can get working on a new project. If you want to load up a project that you've already saved, and go and check out my saving and loading video that I did maybe just under a year ago up in the corner, what you're going to need to do is load up everything in the project, because I've had some people saying that they've just loaded, they've clicked load on it, but it hasn't loaded anything like the samples. That'll be because you've just loaded the program. So if you go mode, load again, if we come back here to program, this section is going to make you only load the program. If you scroll across, it's going to only make you load all the samples. If you scroll across to sequence, it's going to make you only load all the sequences without any of the samples. So you won't be able to hear anything. So what you need to do is come across to project or folder. I like to go to folder, and I've got all my beats over here. Let's just load one of the things, medley, I don't know which one this is. Yeah, it's going to ask you whether you want to load the whole folder. Yes. Clear memory. Yes. That basically wipes everything that was going on before, leaves you with a clean thing, and it's loaded pretty quick actually, because this isn't a big file, and from there on it'll just pretty much be left off where you were leaving it off from, and you just press play. It's going to have all the samples in, so you can, like that, it's going to have all your samples in, all your sequences, so all the samples are going to be on the pad. Like that. So that's how you load a full project. The next question or problem that someone was having was when they took the files off their computer. So maybe you've got a computer on your drum kit and you want to load it in through the USB at the back onto one of your cards. Their problem was that they couldn't then get the files to play. So again, we're doing a lot of loading. So you go mode, load. And now if you see here, it's exactly the same. If you load program, actually let me get my sample card in. If we go into my sample section of the sample card, if you go into program, we're going to see that there's nothing there because there are no programs in my sample card. So you go up to here, scroll across to sample, and magically all of my samples have appeared. I don't know how many I've got, but this is basically, you have to tell the machine what you want to load. It doesn't just assume stuff. So sample 1, you just press play to preview it. And then if you want to load that into a track, you just press do it, assign it to a pad, and then load it, and it should be in your pad bank. Like that. Now notice how this sample is a tiny bit quieter than some of the other ones. That's because, and maybe you want it to be louder, like much louder than everything else, because you might want it to be the main sample. There are two ways that we can do this. First of all, you can go mode, program, scroll across back to the start and come to where it says 70. You can just bump that up to 100 and it's much louder. Probably one of the more easier ways, or more like proper ways to do it, is you can go mode, trim, select the sample name, or you can come all the way down. See, I just went down to the bottom of the menu where it said edit, come across, click 3 times till it says normalize, and then just press do it. What that does is bring all of the highest transients up to 0, -0 dB, so it's basically like compression but without taking anything down. It's just a big gain basically. And And then if we click it again on the sequence, it's going to be a lot louder. It's effectively as if you've mastered that sample really quickly. So that's how you want to get drum sounds and stuff. I usually do it to all of my drums because they're not, they're one shot, so they're not super dynamic, which is really easy. The last thing I want to show you guys is the track out. Now I track out in a bit of a weird way. It's probably not the most ideal way. I use the USB thing and I save all my tracks as really long samples. It's not ideal, but somebody was talking about these MIDI ports on the outside of it, and MIDI doesn't support audio, like, wave files and audio files. That only supports stuff like MIDI data, pretty much, obviously, which is the sequences and stuff, and obviously where the notes go at what point and like at what volume and stuff like that. So that's not going to help unless you have the samples actually loaded up on your computer. The best way to do this is to get an interface which samples in stereo, so you've got two inputs which you can gain the same amount. Just go straight into your computer, connect that up to the two outputs at the back, and then just mute each track, or you can actually go track solo. So if you go track mute, scroll across once, you can track solo. And this only plays, obviously it solos the piano for me, or maybe the snare, or the hi-hats. You just do that and then play that out of the outputs into your computer. So you just let that running for 8 bars if you've got an 8-bar sequence, switch it over, and it's nice and easy. So hopefully you guys found that helpful. If you've got any more questions or any more things that I missed off on this list I've got, then definitely let me know, because I'd love to help. But yeah, if you're not subscribe for more beats, more tips and tricks, and more helpful things about the MPC and just samples and beat making in general, because that'd be really cool. And yeah, have a good rest of the week, and I'll see you in the next one.